satu bingkisan kepada para penonton, insyaAllah.
The world now lives in fear. But today the Jews rule this world by proxy. They get others to fight and die for them.
I'm stating facts. I'm willing to say that again and again that this is what has happened. This idea about anti-Semitism is created by the Jews themselves. We cannot say anything. In fact, journalists have been arrested for saying something against the Holocaust and jailed for 3 years. Where is the freedom of press?
Let there be a state of Palestine. Let there be justice and the rule of law. Warring against them will not stop terrorism.
Do you stand by those sorts of opinions?
If you are going to be truthful, the problem in the Middle East began with the creation of the State of Israel. That is the whole truth. Our principle is that Israel is a criminal nation. It has been breaking international laws without anybody saying anything. We have a right to voice our feeling and to have our own policies.
Palestine remains occupied by a brutal regime. This regime continues to expand illegal settlements on land that rightfully belongs to the Palestinians.
He comes from a country which does not obey international laws. You find that this country just does what it likes, including building settlements in other people's country. Once again, I have to take to the TV because of the dastardly act perpetrated by the rogue state of Israel.
The world now lives in fear. We are afraid of everything. War must therefore be made illegal.
Masya Allah, satu kenyataan yang begitu impactful, yang jelas, yang berani, yang tanpa ragu-ragu. Dan Tun, sebelum saya release sahabat-sahabat saya yang semua bersama dengan kita, saya just nak share dengan Tun, pada malam ini kita tidak bersendirian. Ramai selebriti dan juga influencers bersama kita. Sebenarnya ramai lagi yang nak join, cuma kita ada limitasi masa. Jadi saya nak sebut sahaja nama-nama yang bersama kita. Ada Diana Amir, anaknya, kita ada Lisa Surihani, kita ada Liza Helmi dan husband Helmi, kita ada Rufai dan suaminya, dan kita ada Kesa, kita ada Puan Irma Fatimah, kita ada Faradi, kita ada Zaina, kita ada Farhatul, dan ramai lagi, insyaAllah. Sedikit lagi kita akan ada lagi beberapa orang, tapi kemudian insyaAllah. Thank you so much to my friends who have been very much in support of the struggle, yang sangat vokal di platform masing-masing. Ini perjuangan kecil kita, semoga ada impact yang diterima Allah, insyaAllah. Thank you my friends. Thank you semua. Baik, Tun, insyaAllah we shall proceed with our session. My first question, I believe soalan pertama ni berdasarkan atau bersandarkan satu klip ataupun satu kenyataan Tun pada tahun 2003, iaitu Israel ni dia sentiasa mengimplementasikan kejahatan dia, strategi dia ataupun kelicikan dia tu melalui proxy. Do you still stand by that statement? Dan dalam konteks ni pula jelaskan senario dalam konteks politik dunia kini supaya kita peka dan tak mudah terpedaya dengan perancangan mereka. Silakan Tun.
Saya masih pegang kepada kenyataan yang dibuat oleh saya. Saya dapati bahawa Israel ini bukanlah sebuah negara biasa. Dia adalah sebuah negara yang diadakan untuk kepentingan pihak tertentu. Sebaliknya, kita dapati bahawa Israel tidak ada dahulu, tetapi diadakan kerana pihak Barat ingin menembus balik maruah mereka, kerana mereka selalunya menekan orang-orang Yahudi. Tiap tahun mereka akan membunuh orang Yahudi
kali ini mereka ingin menolong orang Yahudi supaya ditebus balik kesalahan-kesalahan mereka. Inilah yang berlaku, dan di mana kita lihat sekarang Israel tak berhenti menekan orang Palestin yang mereka telah ambil negara Palestin untuk diri mereka. Dan kita berpendapat bahawa kali ini mereka merancang untuk mengambil alih Masjidil Aqsa itu sendiri, kerana mereka memanggil tempat ini sebagai The Temple Mount, dan kononnya 3,000 tahun dahulu mereka mempunyai temple mereka di situ, dan mereka akan ambil balik kawasan itu dengan cara membunuh orang-orang Palestin. Inilah Israel, dan ini tidak akan tamat di situ. Di masa hadapan juga mereka akan terus serang segala kawasan-kawasan yang bukan dimiliki oleh mereka dengan alasan kononnya mereka berhak, kerana dahulu 3,000 tahun dahulu, 4,000 tahun dahulu kononnya kawasan itu dimiliki oleh mereka. Inilah Israel.
Baik Tuan, terima kasih. Dan Tuan, pada malam ni kita tidak bersendirian juga. Kita akan ada dengan sahabat-sahabat kita, rakan-rakan kita daripada Gaza dan daripada Al-Quds. Dan ketika ini insyaAllah saudara Hamzah Derawi, Brother Hamzah Derawi daripada Gaza akan bersama dengan kita to update us on the current situation today and last night, and also the impact upon the civilians. Assalamualaikum Brother Hamzah.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear brothers and sisters. All respect to Tun Mahathir and all respect to everyone who's supporting the Palestinian issue. Hats off for all the hidden soldiers that are supporting us. Well, beginning that this is the anniversary of the Nakba is going on. Since 1948 till today, the Israel occupation has been committing genocide, committing ethnic cleansing, committing the massacres against the people of Palestine. And the anniversary of 2020 of the Nakba coincides yesterday, which is the same conditions that Israel is implementing in Palestine and making the Palestinians living in suffering. Well, last night only, there are 33 martyrs. Only for last night, massacres have been committed against the people of Palestine, and especially the people of Gaza. The aggression started on Monday, but of course it has started long years ago, since the 1948 of the occupation of Palestine. But it started this time on Monday in a very barbaric way, in a very brutal way, that is not differentiating between residential houses, nor governmental institutions, nor mosques or medical institutions. Everything in Palestine is under targeting. And while I'm talking to you, since this session has begun, the bombings didn't stop. I can hear them very clearly behind. The bombings are still going on. At the same time, the massacres are still going on. There are people until this moment under the rubble of the bombarded houses. Still till this moment, people are dying. People are, the rest of the people in Gaza are dying alive. I have contacted many of my friends, and they are saying that we are dying alive. Everyone is waiting for his time to be targeted. And this is one of the insane situations that the people of Palestine are going through. What has happened to the people of Gaza has never ever happened in the history of the whole world, not only in the history of Palestine, but the history of the whole world. That the amount of fire, the amount of destruction, the amount of bombardment that Gaza is being rained and Gaza is being showered during these days. And to grab to spot the light that Gaza has been under the siege since 2007. Gaza has been under very fragile conditions, economic conditions, and even though Gaza is suffering and living, this is the fourth or fifth main aggression since 2007 till today. And in an attempt to break the determination of the people, to break the determination of the people of Palestine. And I want to remind everyone that the people of Palestine are paying the high price. People of Palestine are paying the cost that defending Masjid al-Aqsa that belongs to all the Islamic Ummah and not belongs to the people of Palestine only. The people of Palestine are defending the dignity of Islam on behalf of all the Islamic Ummah. And now they are paying very high price for this. They are paying their houses, they are paying their selves, they are paying their souls. They are paying the fear that they are living these days in Gaza. Well, Israel has created new creative ways in terrorizing the people of Palestine and committing the crimes and the massacres against the people of Palestine. Till this moment, and as the doctor said at the beginning of this session, the people who have been killed, more than 188 Palestinians have been killed. Only last night, 33 of them. So, and of those, 55 children and 33 women. And of those last night, 12 children and 12 women and 8 children. And by talking about the numbers, I want everyone to know that the people of Palestine are not numbers only. Just to add the numbers of the fatalities, to add the numbers who are being killed and who are being injured. Behind every number, there is a suffering story. Behind every number, there is a tragic story is about to begin. Behind every number of those, a journey of pain has already begun to the people of Palestine. And again, this is to be added into the series of crimes and to be added into the series of suffering of the people of Palestine. And I want to tell the whole world that this is an attempt to break the determination of the people of Palestine. But again, the people of Palestine will never give up. They will fight back. They will respond with all the means available, with all the means that they have the right to defend themselves. They have the right to work hard for their freedom. And I think this is accepted by the whole world.
Jazakallah khairan kathiran, brother. Our dua is with you. Thank you so much. Dan sebenarnya Tun, saya dah beberapa malam bersiaran langsung dalam IG platform bersama dengan Hamzah. Dia ceritakan bahawa pada mulanya serangan anak-anak kecil menjerit ketakutan, tapi sejak semalam anak-anak kecil semua diam dan mula tukar wajah jadi kuning kerana ketakutan yang dahsyat. Baik, seterusnya Tun, saya nak ajukan soalan yang seterusnya. Dalam konteks apa yang berlaku di Gaza pada waktu ketika ini, iaitu serangan bertubi, pembunuhan yang tanpa ada rasa simpati, it's a mass murder. Namun apa yang Israel katakan ini adalah self-defense. Mereka sekadar mempertahankan diri mereka. Dan ini viral dalam social media. Apa komen Tun?
I don't accept the answer given by Israel. It is not their defense because they provoke all the time. They provoke confrontation with the Palestinians because they want to seize more Palestinian land. I'm quite sure that after this they will take over Sheikh Jarrah, for example, and maybe also they will try to take over the land where the mosque of Al-Aqsa has been built. This is the Israeli tactic. They are not defending themselves. They are attacking other people. If they are defending themselves, then they should fight in their own country only. But they are fighting in Palestinian land. So the Israeli excuse that they have a right to defend themselves is not acceptable. Indeed, what is happening is that the Palestinians are trying to defend themselves, and they are very weak in the face of the kind of attack and the weapons at the hands of the Israelis. This is not a fair fight. It is the way of the bullies. People who are strong try to oppress the weak, and this is what Israel is about. I think we should not accept the excuse that Israel is defending itself.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Tun. Dan insyaAllah sebenarnya Tun, kita juga akan berlintas langsung sekali lagi di Al-Quds. di mana kita nak tahu juga perkembangan apa yang berlaku di Masjid Al-Aqsa. Jadi kita akan bersama dengan Mr. Nasir Hidmi, President of the Jerusalem Committee Against Judaization in Jerusalem. Assalamualaikum, Nasir.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Now, brother, could you update us on the current situation of Al-Aqsa and especially in regards to the recent infringements and attacks on the masjid?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulih al-Kareem. It is an honor for me to be at the same stage with Dr. Tun Mahathir. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate this opportunity to be with the same people at the same time. I salute you all, and I thank everybody who participated in this event and helped organize it. As you said, I was asked by the organizers of this event to shed some light on the issue of Judaization of Al-Aqsa Mosque and the transition committed against it by Jewish extremists and officials. And for that, I would like to say the following. Al-Aqsa Mosque was undergone several attacks from the occupation authorities, the most dangerous of which was when the leader of the opposition at the time and the prime minister of the occupation later, Ariel Sharon, broke into Al-Aqsa Mosque in the year 2000, which ignited the Intifada of Al-Aqsa. This Intifada was the most violent event to occur in Jerusalem and the whole West Bank and Gaza. Despite this, and only 3 years after it started, the extremist Zionist minister Tzahi Hanigbi, who stated that Al-Aqsa Mosque will be open for Jews to visit it with or without the approval of the Ministry of Al-Awqaf and Islamic Affairs. On the 20th of August 2003, the occupation police and several members of the government of the occupation decided to allow the entry of Jews to Al-Aqsa Mosque starting on that day. Since that time, the occupation authorities have been working to normalize the forced entry of settlers to Al-Aqsa Mosque and have been gradually escalating their forced entry by expanding the area of their break-in and by adding more activities to it. For example, the break-in used to be only a short tour inside the open areas of Al-Aqsa Mosque. Then it was escalated to include more walking distance and different parts of the mosque. And any Palestinian who showed any objection of their entry was immediately arrested. After that, the settlers started sitting in a specific places in their route in order to prolong the duration of their break-in of Al-Aqsa Mosque, and they would use the time to listen to lectures and explanations about their false Israeli narrative. Several activities, ritual and biblical recitations were added to their so-called tour. The settlers' leaders in all their events have proclaimed that their ultimate objective was to build a legendary temple in the place of Al-Aqsa Mosque. The occupation authorities did not deny this, nor did it consider this proclamation an incitement of violence. On the contrary, we have seen these settlers collecting donations and calling in all occasions to mobilize Jews to break into Al-Aqsa Mosque and to desecrate it in order to speed up its demolition and build their temple in its place. The occupation authorities have prevented the Ministry of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs for renovating Al-Aqsa Mosque on several occasions and have prevented the entry of construction materials with the purpose of letting the mosque collapse and be destroyed. Since the beginning of 2021, and as consequence of that Trump administration's recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of the state of occupation, the occupation authorities have increased their hold on the city of Jerusalem and Al-Aqsa Mosque in order to parade their power and establish their control over them through a series of practices, challenging the authority of the Ministry of Awqaf and the Muslims' right to pray and worship in the mosque. The most violent and dangerous of these practices was done recently in the month of Ramadan, as the occupation authorities intensified the break-ins by settlers of Al-Aqsa Mosque and prevented Palestinians from the West Bank to reach the mosque. They besieged the people of Jerusalem while worshipping in the mosque, stormed the mosque, rained over the worshippers with tear gas, flashbangs, and rubber bullets, injuring hundreds of Muslims and worshippers, causing dozens of them to lose an eye and be permanently maimed. This was all to pave the way of the settlers to break into the mosque on the 28th of Ramadan, for which they had been mobilizing for a long time. This is what ignited the major situation that we are living right now, and the crimes of the occupation against our people in Gaza and the West Bank and the rest of the occupied Palestine. At the end, despite all these painful events, there must be a light at the end of the tunnel and hope for a better future. These events have managed to unite all Palestinians in all territories in occupied Palestine. Despite the divisions created by the occupation, the Palestinians of 1948, Palestinians in Jerusalem, Palestinians in the West Bank, Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, and Palestinians in diaspora overseas, all of them have united as one in resisting the criminal occupier and defending Al-Aqsa Mosque. Their stance has brought global attention and interest for Palestinian cause. Defending Al-Aqsa Mosque has reformulated the national and religious identity for all the people of Jerusalem and Palestinians in general. The people of Jerusalem have come to shape their identity around the idea of defending Al-Aqsa in the face of transgressors. I salute you all, and I thank everybody who participated in this event, and I hope that your interest and the whole Muslim nation interest will become stronger and stronger in order to see Palestine, Jerusalem, and Al-Aqsa Mosque, inshallah, free from occupation and free for all Muslims to come and pray and worship Allah freely, inshallah. Thank you very much. I cannot hear anything. I don't know what happened, but
okay, I've unmuted my microphone, inshallah.
Oh.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother Nasir, and may Allah grant our dua. May we find an amicable solution. May we be united, inshallah, and find ways to work things out together. Jazakallah khairan kathiran.
Thank you very much. And again, it's an honor being for me to be with you, Dr. Tun Mahathir. Thank you very much. And we hope to see you in Al-Aqsa Mosque, inshallah, very soon. We can see that it is very close, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you.
Sebenarnya Tuan, daripada apa yang kita dapat daripada rakan-rakan kita melalui lintas langsung pada malam ini dan juga daripada pembacaan, apa yang Israel lakukan adalah satu perbuatan sekelompok manusia yang tidak rasa bersalah, tidak memperdulikan kecaman dunia, dan mereka adalah sekelompok manusia yang sangat sombong. Namun hakikatnya, apa pandangan Tun pula berkenaan perkembangan terkini normalisasi perhubungan antara negara Arab dan juga negara Islam dengan Israel. Komen Tun.
For Malaysia, we have never had any relation with Israel right from the very beginning. But it is sad to see some countries establishing relation with Israel. It is going to encourage Israel to treat the Palestinians even in a worse way. Already they have shown that despite having established good relations with some Arab countries, some Muslim countries, they have taken this action to seize the Al-Aqsa Mosque, killing people in Gaza, and also trying to take over the village of Sheikh Jarrah. That means that we get nothing from being nice to the Israelis. They are a rogue state, and they will behave like rogues. Whatever we do,
Thank you, Tun. Very simple and clear. Indeed, I believe that all countries must be united against this rogue entity that does not feel any, tidak ada rasa bersalah langsung dalam perbuatan mereka. InsyaAllah, seterusnya kita akan bersama dengan Dr. Wesam pula, Dr. Mahathir, iaitu pensyarah di Gaza University. Beliau juga pernah menjadi pensyarah di beberapa universiti di Malaysia. Assalamualaikum Dr. Wesam.
Waalaikumsalam, Ms. Farah.
Doctor, we have had a little bit of the historical background on Al-Aqsa in regards to Al-Quds. Perhaps you can shed light to the historical background in Gaza and what the future beholds for the Gazans, as we see that the atrocities, the attacks are intensifying as we speak. Tafadhal, Doctor.
Okay, assalamu alaikum and good evening. Thank you so much, Ms. Farah, for the invitation. And I would like also to thank all the panelists led by Tun Mahathir and also the audience. Regarding the aggression on Gaza and on the Palestinian territories, which is started in Jerusalem, in Beit al-Maqdis, and this is one of the unique points of this cycle of the Israeli aggression, that it has started because of the Israeli aggression on the Beit al-Maqdis and their trial to evict and displace the Palestinians from their homes, which started actually in 1948, and that is the root cause of the Palestinian suffering since 1948. One of the other point, the unique point of this cycle of the Israeli aggression, that it unites the Palestinian, whether we are talking about the Gaza Strip, West Bank, and in diaspora, and also it create and motivate more international support for the Palestinian cause and for the struggle of the Palestinian. And that momentum need to be utilized, especially on creating more unity on the Palestinian scenario. And that should push to more legalization and also legitimization of the Palestinian struggle against the Israeli. And that should build a more strong legal platform to fight against the Israeli aggression on the international level. And this is within the agenda that Tun Mahathir always pushing on supporting the Palestinian and creating international pressure on the Israeli and those who are the big powers who are supporting the Israeli in the international platforms. Because basically we have an agreeable proposal where both all the Palestinian factions, political factions, agree on that, and also in the international community, which is the 1967 borders, which is actually representing only 23% of Palestine. But this is the very minimal political proposal that the Palestinians are willing or capable of accepting. So the international community need to push that proposal and implementing that. Otherwise, with time and with the continuous aggression of the Israeli and the settlement in the West Bank, that will push to practically on the ground, the only solution will be to have a one-state solution. So again, I don't want to repeat what's been talked about the suffering of people in Gaza for the last 1 week due to the Israeli aggression, and the suffering of the Palestinian in Beit al-Maqdis and the attacks on the Muslims at the Masjid al-Aqsa. All these issues need to push forward to kind of create more international pressure on the Israeli. So just maybe to add some points here on what is expected to happen. So there is now a lot of interference and some kind of mediation from Egypt, Qatar, United Nations, and US to try to reach a ceasefire for the the aggression from the Israeli side. There are a lot of negotiations. And it is expected, according to some media reports, that a ceasefire can be reached maybe within 2 to 3 days. And, this is not the end, because we've been in this scenario for the last 16 years. We had more than 4 big wars, which the latest was in 2014. And usually we will have a lot of destruction, thousands of people died. So this circle of aggression need to be stopped, need to be ended. And without justice solution for the Palestinian cause, where people of Palestine can live free and in a peaceful state, this circle of aggression won't stop, because whenever and wherever the Israeli attack the Palestinian, their very basic right is to defend their self. Because, we've been hearing a lots of reports that, especially from the Western media and some politician, where they talk about the Israeli as they are defending themselves. So we basically need to look at the action, not the reaction, because the Palestinian, they react for the Israeli act, which is severe. If you are living this condition here in Gaza, it's crazy. It's, every night we have a massive attacks, which is, it's unbelievable. So this cycle of aggression needs to be stopped, actually, because people here, they are suffering a lot. So again, thank you so much for the invitation. And I would like also to thank the Malaysian people for their continuous support. And as usual, even though Malaysia is far from Palestine, we are talking almost about 7,000 kilometers, but the continuous support of the Malaysian, whether in terms of, funding through the Malaysian NGOs in Gaza, and to some extent in the West Bank and for Beit al-Maqdis, that's really mean a lot for the Palestinian people. So thank you so much.
Dr. Bassam, Jazakallah khairan kathiran. May Allah protect you. The only thing that we can do now is first dua. Number 2, to have discussions such as this for us to find new ways to solve the problem, to find new ways of how the Ummah can assist and find a proper way, an efficient way to find an end to this inhuman treatment, systematic abuse towards the Palestinians. Inshallah, brother. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Tun, sebenarnya saya rasa ramai yang berada dalam platform malam ini sedang cuba mengawal emosi saya juga sebagai pengacara pada program pada malam ini pun terpaksa mengawal emosi walaupun rasa sebab banyak kali, namun saya kira yang paling penting sekali ialah kita menggunakan emosi, kita mengarahkan emosi kita ke arah yang betul, iaitu mencari jalan dan solusi yang mampu kita kecapi bersama-sama. Dan seterusnya, saya nak zoom in isu ini ke dalam negara. Sebab kalau kita lihat in the international front, di Barat, di Eropah, isu Palestin bukan lagi isu Muslim. Ialah satu isu kemanusiaan yang dipropagate, dinyatakan, diperjuangkan oleh non-Muslim. Kerana ini adalah isu masyarakat sejagat. Namun kalau kita zoom in ke Malaysia, ini adalah satu seolah-olah isu Muslim semata-mata. Jadi bagaimana kita nak ubah pemikiran ini agar seluruh masyarakat Malaysia untuk sama-sama memperjuangkan isu ini, terasa mengenai isu ini?
I have always maintained that we need to plan whenever we are fighting anything or wanting to do something. We need to plan. We just cannot take action on our own without being a part of the total plan. Maybe the feeling is very strong and you want to take revenge because of the killings of the Palestinians. But when you do that, you are not actually fighting against the enemy. You are creating new enemies. That is where we went wrong. One of the things we can do now is to establish the solidarity of the Muslim. This is an opportunity for us to be united only for this particular action on the part of Israel. We all should condemn what Israel has done, at least on this occasion. Of course, at other times, we may be actually fighting each other. That does not contribute towards the struggle of the Palestinians. So there are two things that I think we can do. Number one is to express solidarity with the Palestinians, for the whole Muslim world to express solidarity with the Palestinians. And secondly, we need to have a proper strategy so as to achieve our objective. At this moment, it is not even clear what is our objective, apart from wanting to defend our territory against aggression by the Israelis.
Tun, I will definitely come back on that statement in regards to for us to be able to have a proper strategy. I hope the same statement have been shared on the 14th of May during your live session on your Facebook, and I find that very intriguing. I wonder what are the possible strategies that you might have in mind, but we shall go back to that question later on. But in the meantime, insyaAllah pada waktu dan ketika ini, sebenarnya kita akan bersama dengan dua lagi selebriti kita yang turut sama mengecam kekejaman Zionis dan bersama-sama dalam solidariti dengan apa yang berlaku dengan brothers and sisters kita di Palestin. InsyaAllah saya jemput Brother Caprice dan Imam Muda Ashraf untuk bersama dengan kita.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Baik, saya serahkan sesi selama 2 minit kepada Brother Caprice untuk sampaikan message kepada rakyat Palestin. Silakan.
Assalamualaikum, Tun, as well as Malaysia and the rest of Palestine. Caprice harap not just kita sebagai rakyat bangkit untuk bersuara, tapi Caprice sangat berharap kepada kita punya pemimpin Islam dekat Malaysia dan di luar negara to not just bersuara, sebab benda ni dah berlaku bertahun-tahun, banyak kali dah berlaku, and Caprice merayu kepada negara Islam kat luar sana, Turkey, Saudi, Malaysia, Indonesia. Kita banyak kali bersuara, tapi words can only go so far. I'm pretty sure we know this. Words can only go so far, but we want to see action. It should not take the OIC or the Arab League weeks to discuss a solution. I believe when someone is provoking the red line of Islam, Al-Aqsa, the Arab League should not take weeks to reply. The OIC should not take weeks to reply. We should be not just talking, but we should take stern and immediate action. Kita sebagai rakyat, kita ni orang biasa saja. Kita boleh bersuara dekat social media. Kita Kepri sendiri bersuara, siap buat lagu, interview seorang orang Israeli last night on my IG live. But the truth is hanya pemimpin Islam sahaja yang boleh ambil tindakan keras. Kita sebagai orang Islam, kita tetap support and sokong kita punya adik-beradik dekat Palestine, and sangat-sangat sedih apa yang berlaku 2 hari sebelum raya dekat dia orang punya time dia orang nak pergi solat tu. But the truth is our Muslim leaders must be at the front line taking action and not just talking, because I believe we've been talking for so long, and the more we talk and the less action that we take, I believe I have this big fear that this thing will just go under the carpet, and the next year we're going to see something even more drastic. Because every year we talk about this. Every year, guys, we talk about this. Tapi Kepri sangat merayu kepada pemimpin Islam daripada keluar kata-kata sahaja. Tolonglah ambil tindakan. Take some action. Take some action. And I hope and I pray. My prayers are with the people of Palestine. I come from a diplomatic family. My dad, Ayah Caprice, kerja bawa Wisma Putra his whole career. My dad dah pension dah. I live and breathe with the diplomatic community, and this is something that really breaks my heart. And inshallah one day kalau kita dapat peluang to not just talk, but to take action, inshallah kita akan ubah. Result dia akan ubah. Selagi kita tak tukar kita punya cara, hasil dia tetap akan remain sama saja. InsyaAllah selepas ni kita akan ambil tindakan keras. Not just talk, but actually take action. OIC, the Arab League, I'm talking to you. Like what Tun said, we as Muslim, when we're united, technically, we should be very, very strong. And kepada the US, the Americans who may not be in our favor, the time has changed, guys. Ni bukan zaman George W. Bush. Ni bukan zaman dulu yang when they came out with the accords and the peace treaty. Look at China, look at Russia, look at Turkey. Now you have all these superpowers. If you don't want to deal with the US, deal with China. For example, you know what I mean? Kepri merayu dan harap kepada kita punya pemimpin Islam, jangan keluar kata-kata saja, tapi ambil tindakan keras, make new allies. And it's about time we take action. Demi ummah, inshallah.
Caprice, indeed a very impactful comment, statement. Dan sebenarnya usaha ini sudah pun cuba dilakukan oleh beberapa blok ataupun beberapa negara Islam. Saya berkesempatan moderate KL Summit 2019. Dan pada ketika itu ada cadangan dan usaha sama untuk mengadakan satu blok Muslim untuk membantu ummah. Mungkin soalan ini saya akan ajukan nanti pada Tun, sebab Tun adalah tulang belakang Summit 2019. Sebab kita dah penat sebenarnya mendengar kata-kata yang kita tahu Israel tak peduli pun. Dia tahu itu adalah SOP biasa setiap negara. Menyatakan kata-kata itu sebagai SOP, mereka patut kata.
Diorang tak goyang pun. Sebelum nak masuk Al-Aqsa tu, diorang tak fikir pasal Turkey, diorang tak fikir pasal Tun Mahathir, diorang tak fikir pasal Indonesia, diorang tak fikir pasal Saudi Arabia. Time dia nak masuk Al-Aqsa tu, diorang tak fikir pun. So buat apa kita nak duduk ramai-ramai nak fikir, sebenarnya kita nak buat apa ni? Ni dah bertahun-tahun dah berlaku dah. Sebenarnya kita patut ambil tindakan saja. InsyaAllah.
InsyaAllah, semoga platform pada malam ini akan membuahkan hasil untuk kita berfikir secara berbeza untuk mendapat hasil yang berbeza. Okay, Imam Muda Ashraf, over to you, silakan.
Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Kak Farah.
Sama.
Okey, dengar dah Baik. kepada semua Tun Mahathir dan juga semua yang mendengar pada hari ini. Sebenarnya isu ni betul cakap Caprice, isu yang lama. Perjuangan ini perjuangan yang lama, bukan daripada drama 1948 lagi, tapi perjuangan ini begitu panjang sebelum ini. Dan sebenarnya kalau kita tengok yang kita perjuangkan ini asal usulnya daripada hanya tanah Al-Quds yang tidak sebesar mana, lebih kurang 35 ekar ini. Bumi yang ada sentimen, ada sensitiviti untuk umat Islam dan juga seluruh manusia yang ada nilai kemanusiaan. Kalau kita berbincang isu tentang agama, saya cerita sikit bab agama. Kalau kita bincang isu agama, ini adalah cerita tentang bumi Nabi Sulaiman alaihissalam, Ishaq, Yaqub, ini bumi-bumi nabi-nabi para anbiya. Dan bumi ini bumi yang perlu harus berada padanya keadamaian dan keamanan. Dan bumi ini yang kalau kita tengok bumi yang mana tidak sebesar mana ini, yang mana direbut-rebutkan oleh seluruh dunia ini, dan kita tengok keadaan yang berlanjutan sampai hari ini tidak habis-habis. Dan saya sebenarnya nak gerakkan semua orang yang sedang tidur bahawa apa yang telah dilakukan serangan balas oleh pihak Gaza sebagai contoh Qassam dan sebagainya, kalau kita tengok mereka ini duduk dekat bumi yang hanya sekerdil lebih kurang panjang 41 km dan selebar 8 ke 12 km, iaitu bumi Gaza, iaitu 1.3% sahaja daripada seluruh Palestin ataupun seluruh yang negara haram Israel ini. 1.3% sahaja. Kedudukannya sangat kecil, kedudukannya sangat-sangat bahaya dengan populasi penduduk hampir 2 juta. Tembak saja mesti kena kepala orang. Bom saja mesti kena kepala orang. Di mana-mana begitu padat penduduk Gaza, tetapi tindakan mereka membalas dengan menghantar serangan-serangan ke tempat-tempat yang kita tengok Ashkelon, tempat-tempat lapangan terbang yang berjauhan daripada perumahan, tentang amaran-amaran dekat tempat yang Ashdod dan juga tempat Lut. Ini tempat-tempat yang berasingan daripada Baitul Maqdis sebenarnya adalah berfungsi untuk mengalihkan pandangan Israel, mengalihkan pandangan untuk pergi ke tempat-tempat tersebut daripada mereka fokus kepada Al-Aqsa. Jadi saya nampak di sini betapa hebatnya orang-orang Gaza bagaikan lilin membakar diri, membakar jiwa Gaza, membakar nyawa-nyawa Gaza semata-mata hendak menerangkan bumi Palestin, bumi Al-Quds itu sendiri. Ini satu pengorbanan yang sudah mestinya memerlukan satu emosi dan juga memerlukan satu pemikiran yang begitu jauh dibincangkan daripada rakyat Gaza itu sendiri. Sebab itu bila kita tengok apa keputusan yang mereka lakukan, Gaza ataupun orang-orang yang berada di sana, orang Palestin buat keputusan tertentu sudah semestinya melalui pertimbangan yang besar. Jadi rakyat Malaysia kita perlu tahu, Farah, kita kena tahu sejarah perjalanan perjanjian demi perjanjian yang telah dilakukan daripada Syam Sheikh, daripada Camp David 1, 2, 3, berapa kali lagi perjanjian yang hendak kita lakukan, sedangkan kita sudah mengetahui perjanjian demi perjanjian ini telah dilanggari saban tahun, sedangkan semakin hari semakin ramai umat Islam itu dibunuh. Kalau kita tengok kita tak mampu untuk melakukan tidak mampu dari sudut ketenteraan, paling kurang kesedaran dari dunia demokrasi pada hari ini, desakan daripada pemikiran-pemikiran yang betul akan mendesak pemerintah. Akhirnya pemerintah pasti akan menurut kehendak rakyat apabila rakyat menyokong apa yang dilakukan oleh seluruh negara pada hari ini, bahkan seluruh dunia. Mereka mendesak kerajaan mereka untuk menentang penjajahan Israel. Ini satu benda yang baik, hasil daripada perjuangan mungkin lebih kurang 10-20 tahun, pemikiran-pemikiran disebarkan, idea-idea dilontarkan, kempen-kempen diceritakan dan akhirnya membentuk satu gagasan yang mana mereka sendiri mendesak kerajaan-kerajaan mereka yang dulu, mungkin kerajaan mereka dulu menyokong kuat. Dan kita pada hari raya kita kena kenang, kita baca sadaqa wa'dah wa nasara 'abdah wa 'azza jundah, cerita tentang perang Ahzab, kiri kanan depan belakang kita diserang, bukan kecil-kecil. Ini satu semangat yang perlu kita ambil. Baru saja kita sambut raya baru-baru ni. Jadi saya cakap laju sikit dah sebab saya tengok masa saya nak bagi peluang kepada orang lain. Cuma kita nak bagi tahu bahawa ketika Nabi SAW mendapat khabar berita dibunuhnya beberapa sahabat Nabi di Bir Ma'unah, maka Nabi SAW 7 orang yang syahid sahabat Nabi dibunuh. Sebulan Nabi bangun untuk kunut nazilah. Kita dah menyaksikan hampir ratusan orang, anak-anak dan juga wanita dibunuh. Kalau zaman Bani Abbasiyah, Mu'tasim Billah mendapat khabar seorang wanita muslimah diserang, maka waktu itu dia menghantar pasukan tentera untuk menyerang Rom. Ini satu sejarah yang berlaku. Sebab ini melibatkan tentang sentimen agama yang mungkin ada, macam tadi disebut, Bagi orang Islam, saya sebut kepada kaum muslimin itu sendiri, mungkin isu ini lebih besar daripada sentimen agama. Dia melibatkan kemanusiaan, melibatkan hak asasi, melibatkan isu-isu kebebasan media, dan benda ini semua dilanggari oleh Israel. Kita nak cerita human right dah langgar dah. Kita nak cerita kebebasan media dah langgar dah. Tak ada isu lagi yang mereka tak langgar. Apa yang mereka cerita, apa yang disebut dalam persidangan Geneva, semua mereka langgar. Jadi untuk kaum muslimin, saya sebagai ustaz dalam ruang yang ada pada hari ini, saya menyeru untuk kita ini memahami isu ini dengan lebih tuntas, dengan lebih baik supaya sampai maklumat kepada orang dengan betul, dan kita harapkan benda ini tidak berulang. Ayat Quran yang kita baca, innamal mu'minuna ikhwah. Sesungguhnya mukmin itu bersaudara. Saudara apakah yang kita tafsirkan sebenarnya kalau kita hanya berpeluk tubuh sedangkan mereka sedang meratah umat Islam begitu teruk. Wallahu alam.
Terima kasih Mahmud Ashraf, pengisian yang padat. Thank you Brother Caprice. InsyaAllah harap anda terus bersama dengan kami sebab insyaAllah seterusnya kita akan bersama dengan Mr. Manuel. Beliau adalah seorang Palestinian yang juga beragama Kristian yang turut didera, dicabuli haknya sebagai manusia untuk hidup di bumi yang merdeka di Palestin. Dia tinggal dekat Al-Quds dan hopefully dengan sesi ni kita dapat menyedarkan sahabat-sahabat kita, rakan-rakan kita yang beragama Kristian juga di Malaysia tentang ini adalah isu Kristian juga dan isu kemanusiaan. Okey, dan juga bersama dengan kita akan ada perkenalkan Mr. Naim Musallam, the Chairman of Popular International Body for Justice and Peace for Jerusalem, dan juga bersama dengan kita ialah Sister Yun Farlek, the main coordinator of Palestine Network yang akan menterjemahkan sesi interview ni lah. Sister Lin, are we ready? InsyaAllah.
InsyaAllah, yes.
And Mr. Manuel Musallam, thank you for being with us.
Salam Ustad. Ustad Manuel, عم تسمعنا؟ The internet connection is a bit slow, perhaps.
It's okay. We try. We shall try. My question would be as simple as this. Many assume that the Palestinian or the atrocities in Palestine against the people in Palestine are basically atrocities against Muslims and Muslim sites alone. However, in actual fact, this is not the case. Even the Christians are being abused, are being targeted, are being discriminated, systematically abused, basically. So could Brother Manuel, Mr. Manuel Musallam shed light on this?
Okay, I would ask him the question, but I think as well he has something to mention other than focusing on the Christian side of Palestine. But I will translate to him the question. أستاذ منوي مسلم عم تسمعنا؟ أنت معنا على الخط؟ I will text him the question in WhatsApp for now, just to make sure if he is not listening.
Okey, kita cuba sebab di kawasan Masjid Al-Aqsa dan kawasan Al-Quds memang connectionnya not so good. Malah tadi masa kita bersama dengan Mr. Nasir pun dia memaklumkan kata connection pun tak baik kat situ walaupun asal kita rancang untuk berlintas langsung dari Masjid Al-Aqsa. Namun terpaksa kita tukar plan kita dan dia berlintas langsung dari rumahnya sendiri agar lebih baik.
I think Mr. Musallam dia dekat Gaza sekarang. So maybe that's why lah internet connection is a bit slow. Dekat Gaza.
Gaza, okay. Patutlah sebab serangan berlaku di Gaza pada waktu dan ketika ini.
Betul. Even semalam last night, even when we were trying to connect, it was very slow. Yeah.
Okay, kalau macam tu mungkin Lin boleh ceritakan sedikit apa yang nak disampaikan oleh Brother Manuel Musallam daripada apa yang disampaikan dengan Lin masa di luar platform Facebook ni.
Okay, so should I like present on behalf of him? That's what I understand. All right. Thank you for speaking in Malay and have this trust, Kak Farah, first of all. And we're very happy to have you all here. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. Nama saya Lin Saleh. Assalamualaikum semua. Saya Palestinian refugee and activist living here in Malaysia. Sebelum ni dah belajar dekat UIA in the field of health and rehabilitation. And I'm working in Friends of Palestine Network, as Ms. Farah has mentioned previously. So supposedly I was supposed to be presenting on behalf of Mr. Manuel Musallam in English, but I believe the internet connection is not helping so far. So I will try my best to answer and to deliver his message that I believe all the Christians in Palestine would be interested to show others, because people think this conflict, if we would name it a conflict, it's only between Muslims and Zionism, which is not. Palestinian are a main part of the Christians are a main part of the Palestinian community and identity as well that we do share together. Mr. Manuel has some points that he wanted to deliver as well, mentioning that Islam and Christianity in Palestine cannot be separated and they are a part of the Palestinian identity. So for him, as a Palestinian Christian, he has a unique perspective to the situations we're living right now, which is also nationalistic and linked to Islam. And he mentioned that his identity is linked to Islam. Coming back on that, as an Arab and Palestinian Christian, Al-Aqsa, Masjid Al-Aqsa is a part of religion, heritage, and spiritual location for us of both faith. That we appreciate that Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Holy Church of the Sepulchre is in Al-Quds in Jerusalem city. Jerusalem is not only the capital of Palestine, Jerusalem is the capital of religion, the capital of culture, the capital of identity, and the capital of heritage. This civilization is the one for Christians and Muslims combined with local dignity. Please excuse me. We're trying our best to get Mr. Manuel again with us on board. I hope that he can be here and he would join us at least like for 2 minutes, if that's okay. But coming back to the question that you asked, Farah, back in Ramadan, actually, there was Easter. As we know, the Christian, our brothers in the East, they celebrate Easter for a couple of weeks. So at the end of their festival, they go to visit the holy churches, and Palestine and Jerusalem has the main church with which Palestine Christians come all over the world for Hajj, as we Muslims say. So this year, according to the uprising and the conflicts that was happening in Al-Quds in Jerusalem, the Israeli soldiers and police, they didn't allow the Christians to enter the church. They closed it actually, and they had some attacks as well, which was very bad. I believe the media didn't really show and focus on that, since everyone was busy with what's happening in Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood. And following this, the attack on Al-Aqsa and the invading happened actually. So thank you. That's all from here. I wish I've delivered like a main idea of the Christians or Christians brother in Palestine.
Okay, thank you very much, Dean. Jazakallah khairan kathiran. I keep forgetting that you're a Palestinian and I keep talking to you in Bahasa Melayu. All right, now we're back with Tun. Assalamualaikum, Tun.
Waalaikumsalam.
Sebagai konklusi, saya akan ajukan soalan yang terakhir. Apa yang pasti perlunya ada satu perancangan yang terperinci, dan saya kira bunga-bunga perancangan ini dapat dilihat sewaktu Summit 2019 di Kuala Lumpur, di mana seolah-olah ada gambaran akan berlakunya satu blok baru, blok ekonomi, blok politik, blok pertahanan dan pendidikan secara menyeluruh untuk kita enable the ummah. Namun kemana hala tuju kita sekarang dan bagaimana kita, regardless of the political conflict internally or internationally, we want to see this as an ummah to materialize. Silakan Tun.
Terima kasih. Yang pertama, saya selalu berkata, apabila kita berada dalam satu konflik, satu pertentangan ataupun bermusuh, kita perlu kurangkan bilangan musuh dan tambah bilangan kawan. Tetapi kita lihat di waktu ini kita tidak identify siapa sebenarnya musuh kita. Kita bermusuh dengan semua orang. Dan bila kita bermusuh dengan semua orang, maka sukar bagi kita yang lemah mencapai apa-apa kemenangan. Itulah yang saya sebut selalu, iaitu apabila kita berhadapan dengan musuh, kita perlu tambah kawan kita yang boleh tolong kita dan kurangkan musuh kita. Saya nak sebut sikit berkenaan dengan politik dalam Malaysia. Di waktu Najib menjadi Perdana Menteri, kita di kalangan parti lawan ini semuanya bermusuh. Tak ada, kita bukan parti yang lama berkawan, tidak. Saya sendiri bermusuh dengan DAP, dengan keadilan dan sebagainya. Tetapi kita tentukan matlamat kita ialah untuk menjatuhkan Najib. Untuk itu kita ketepikan permusuhan kita dengan DAP, dengan Anwar dan sebagainya, dan kita tumpu kepada objektif kita, iaitu untuk menjatuhkan Najib. Dan kita berjaya. Tapi apa yang kita lihat, kita bukan saja berperang dengan Israel, kita berperang dengan semua orang, termasuk berperang dengan orang Eropah. Di tempat mana kita mencari perlindungan, kita buat perkara-perkara yang tidak menyenangkan orang-orang di mana kita tumpang negara mereka. Sebab itu saya masih sedih kerana yang pertamanya sepatutnya semua orang Islam, semua negara Islam bersatu dalam satu perkara ini saja, iaitu untuk menembus balik kedudukan kita di Palestin. Untuk itu kita bersatu. Kalau kita nak ada masalah berkenaan dengan perkara lain, itu soal lain. Tetapi kita mesti bersatu. Jadi kalau kita bersatu, tak dapat tidak kita akan jadi kuat. Lagipun negara-negara Islam ni kaya-kaya belaka. Kita boleh bekal diri kita dengan semua senjata dalam dunia ini. Tetapi kita tidak buat demikian. Yang keduanya ialah, seperti saya kata tadi, kita kurangkan musuh kita. Jangan kita pergi berkelahi dengan orang Eropah. Tak ada pasal pun. Dengan orang lain tak guna. Bukan kita nak dapat apa, kita berkelahi dengan dia orang. Sebaliknya bila kita ambil tindakan yang menimbul kemarahan oleh mereka, mereka akan memihak kepada Israel. Itu yang patut kita elak. Jangan Israel dapat banyak kawan, kita dapat banyak lawan. Kalau kita nak menang, kurangkan lawan, tambahkan kawan. Itulah cara kita. Terima kasih.
Masya Allah. Okey Tun, satu pesanan yang cukup menusuk kalbu. Akhir sekali, sekarang tengah viral ancaman Israel kepada negara-negara yang lantang bersuara berkenaan isu ini. Dia blackmail, termasuklah negara kita. Tun sentiasa berani dalam isu ini. Walaupun kadang-kadang statement itu dikeluarkan secara bersendiri, on a personal stand. Apa pesanan Tun kepada mereka yang sedang menonton pada waktu dan ketika ini yang mungkin sedikit rasa gusar dengan ancaman tersebut?
Ya, sekarang ini cara-cara orang berperang, bermusuh berlainan daripada dahulu. Dahulu mereka mesti isytihar perang, barulah mereka mengambil tindakan ganas. Tetapi sekarang ini kita dapati tak ada pun isytihar perang. Boleh hantar drone bunuh orang tertentu. Ini berlaku seperti mana kita tahu kepada seorang pemimpin Iran. Dibunuh gitu saja. Assassination. Kerana apa? Kerana Iran tak boleh lawan balik dengan mereka. Ini ugutan daripada Israel ialah mereka akan bertindak terhadap sesiapa yang menentang mereka. Ini kita kena terima lah. Kalau kita nak kena nak kena serang, kita kena serang lah. Tapi kita kena jaga-jaga.
Okey Tun, terima kasih di atas persoalan tersebut. Tapi yang paling penting sekali pada malam ini, harap-harapnya apa yang kita perolehi ialah satu pemandangan baru untuk kita mengendalikan minda kita, pemikiran kita berkenaan isu ini. Dan Tun, moga semuanya sihat-sihat belaka at your end. Dan sekarang kita nak jemput sebelum kita before we come to an end, kita nak jemput semua tetamu kita yang ada pada malam ini bersama-sama kita dalam platform untuk kita ada photo opportunity merakamkan saat bersama-sama, solidariti kita bersama dalam isu ini. Brother Nasir, Brother Hamzah, Brother Caprice, seorang gitu, siapa kat ni? Terima kasih saya ucapkan kepada semua yang bersama-sama dengan kita. Mak Urma, ada something yang Pak Iman nak sampaikan akhir kata sebelum kita akhir
terima kasih Farah, terima kasih jemput saya bersama-sama. Kalau satu ketika dulu ketika Palestin diserang, Malaysia adalah negara yang pertama sampai ke Palestin untuk memberi bantuan di bawah pimpinan Tun Dr. Mahathir. Saya harap pada hari ini kita juga dapat melakukan benda yang sama untuk membantu Palestin. Itu saja. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih banyak-banyak dan terima kasih kepada semua yang moga apa yang kita kongsikan pada hari ini diterima walaupun sedikit tetapi impactful. Dan seperti dalam apa yang Allah katakan dalam ayat Al-Quran, surah Al-Ra'd ayat 11, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Innallaha la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Surely Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change their own condition. We cannot expect a different result with the same action. So hopefully we will have and we will be able to form and formulate a different action to solve this issue. With that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jazakallah khairan kathiran. All of our prayers are with you, brothers and sisters in Palestine. Terima kasih sekali lagi.
Assalamualaikum.
Barakallahu fiikum.
Jazakumullah kulla khair. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.